people. We got one mic. We got Rodman. All right. I'm going to get to that.
Rodman.
Sorry about seeing my nostrils, everybody. All right, I got to pick my nose. I'll see you guys later.
Oh, that's lovely.
Have a good show, Pop.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the start, goofball. Good morning, double tappers. Good morning. Who's double tapped so far? This is a double tap morning. Good morning, Melody. Double tappers. There it is, Melody. Hit that screen twice. Boop, boop. Double tap, just like I got double tapped yesterday, if you guys remember correctly. Double tap it. It's the quickest way to get a like. Hit the old double tap-a-rooney. Good morning. I see Rosabelle. I can see her from here. I have like Hobo Kelly glasses where I can see things far away. Good morning. Mother Wolf, good morning. I feel like howling right now. Howl! Good morning, Laura Divine, B Divine. Good morning. I'm freaking out a little bit. I'm freaking out just a teeny bit. While you guys say good morning to each other, help me with something, too. One of my favorite actors of all time. I've loved this guy from day one. I've loved this guy since French Connection. Gene Hackman. Gene Hackman. He was found dead yesterday in his house in New Mexico. Help me understand this, though. He's found dead with his wife. Yeah, nerdy, he's found dead. He's 95. He's found dead with his wife in the same bed and their dog. Three creatures. So the two of them and the dog are all found dead. And from what I heard on the news so far, somebody called for a welfare check. Okay? Somebody called for a welfare check and wanted them to go check on the Hackmans. And about 1:45 yesterday afternoon, they found this. So Justin, Brock said the same thing. They said it doesn't seem like foul play was involved. Does that mean it was like a gas leak? Is that saying gas leak? Let me ask you this question. Just let's suppose, and I'm not trying to start gossip, but let's suppose it was agreed upon a double suicide. We'll take the dog out too, but the two of us, we're going to double suicide it. Let me ask you a question. If that was the case, would that be considered foul play? Would they consider it foul play? I don't think that, I'm not saying that's what happened by any means. I'm just saying, would you announce it as foul play? Suicide? Double suicide. That you wouldn't announce that as foul play. Okay, so that's still on the table then. Well, it's weird. It's just kind of a weird story. And what a shame. Great guy. I loved his, hasn't acted in a couple decades, but every movie he ever made, he was amazing in. So it's not a foul. It's not foul play. It's a life choice. Okay, Little Santa Fe, New Mexico, and I didn't realize you guys are saying the homes there are pretty old. The homes are a little on the older side there. Maybe he didn't have a carbon monoxide alarm in the house. If they had, maybe it would woke him up. We're making a bunch of assumptions here. Billy D. Mississippi Burning was so good. The Conversation, remember that? He was fantastic in Unforgiven. He was the meanest, ickiest sheriff ever. I hated him through the screen. I was like, he's a really good actor. He's making me hate him. Yeah, that's a whole nother one, right, Justin? The first measles death in 10 years. And the vaccination rates are going down. So I don't know if there's a correlation there or not. I don't know. Right, Nerdy? You're a great actor if you can play a bad guy. But he played both. He could play any role, and you believed him. Anyways, R.I.P. to Gene. Good morning. Are you guys feeling smart this morning? Are you guys feeling very smart this morning? We're going to do a top 10 list here in a few minutes. Okay? I'm thinking it was probably, that's what Brock said. He was thinking carbon monoxide. So we'll wait till they give more information. I was just freaking out because how could 3 people be dead or 2 people and a dog be dead and there's no foul play? How could that happen? How many different combinations are there for making change for $1? How many different combinations? I need change for $1, please. You know, back in the day, you'd be able to calculate change in your head. Now we don't care. I used to stand there at a line when I was paying, and I would calculate this should be my return before the register said it. So I did a little math in my head while I'm shopping. And it kept me a little sharper on my mathematical skills. How many different combinations are there? 293. 293 different ways to make change for $1. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, Sam. Very, very sorry to hear that. You still do that, Cleanie? Yeah, well, I don't, because everything's just paid with a plastic swipe, and you're not really getting change, from what I understand. Li Ka-shing. He's the richest man in Hong Kong. Richest man in Hong Kong. He's worth $20.1 billion. $1 billion. He dropped out of school when he was 16. He didn't have time for it. He had to go make money. Dropped out of school when he was 16 and he's worth $20 billion. So he wasn't stupid. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. There's a lot of people here, 63 already. Can you guys push the like buttons? Push a like button or double tap your screen or something. We should... Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Justin. Here we go. How about this? In 1945, Harold Matson and Elliot Handler. Harold Matson and Elliot Handler. What company do you think those two started? What company? Harold Matson and Elliot Handler. What company did they start in 1945? Mattel. Mattel. The name Mattel is a combination of their names. The Mattel toy company started out in a garage. Sounds like Amazon. Started out in a garage. They actually started out producing picture frames. Picture frames. But when Elliot started making dollhouse furniture from the picture frame scraps, they were so successful, they switched over to making only toys. They were a picture frame company. They had a bunch of scrap. I said, you know what, we can make little dollhouse stuff out of that. Next thing you know, they're off and running. A 2013 study conducted by the researchers at Harvard School of Public Health revealed, this is crazy, revealed that drinking several cups of coffee a day could reduce the risk of suicide in men and women by about 50%. You have nerdy? That's great. You had your own little toy company. 50% reduction in a risk of suicide by over-caffeinating. Interesting. Good morning. The end. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And good morning to, I saw Mushmouth. Good morning, Mushy. Gun silencers don't actually silence a gun. The hot gases released after a gun is shot expand quickly, and they create shock waves when they leave the chamber of the gun. Silencers contain a series of expansion chambers that cool and dissipate the gases before they leave the barrel of the gun. It works similar to the muffler on your car. I think we knew that. Let me ask you this one, though. Take a big guess. Take a big guess. Which university in the United States has produced the greatest number of billionaires? The greatest number of billionaires. Which university in the United States? Hello, Carol. I'm glad to see you here. Which university? MIT, Sanum thinks. Yale, that's an option. Which one? Wayne State. No. Which university? What do you think? I'm giving you guys all a chance to put your brain out there and think about it. No Google, no Google, no Google. No, University of Phoenix, right? It's definitely an Ivy League school. University of Pennsylvania. University of Penn. University of Pennsylvania. 25 billionaires have been produced out of that university. DeVry. Your dad went to Penn, Matthew? Penn's a great school. Got to be really smart to get in. Which form of transportation? Which form of transportation puts people in the best mood? Which form of transportation puts people in the best mood? Trains? Walking? Boating? Motorcycling? Limoing? Training? We're training. The Waz is correct. Wazerton, the bicycle. The bicycle, according to a study published in the Journal of Current Biology. No, it's a different one. People who are bicycling are in the best mood compared to any other means of transportation. Smiling around, bicycling everywhere, and we're smiling as we go. You guys are creepy, the people that said limos. Yeah, I guess so. Party limo. Party limo. According to a study, According to a study published in the Journal of Current Biology, people who exercise 4 hours after learning something new retained the information better 2 days later than those who exercise immediately after learning or not exercising at all. That's interesting. You know, I've always wanted a segue, Brian. That's interesting. Learn something, wait, exercise 4 hours later, boom, retention city. Huh. That's pretty crazy. I think there was another one in here I wanted to. This was crazy too. Who was the most Googled person in the world in 2016? Most Googled person in the world, 2016. Bill Gates, Osama. I think Osama was long gone. Greeny, you're right. It was Trump. It was Trump. Listen to this. Listen to this. The most Googled person in 2016 was President Donald Trump. He wasn't the most honest. He wasn't only the most Googled in the United States, but he was also the most Googled in more than 88 other countries. 88 other countries. From India to Mexico to Belgium. They were all Googling Don. That's pretty nutty. Lightning never strikes twice in the same place. True or false? Lightning never strikes twice in the exact same place. True or false? Rhizomorph saying that's a falso. You guys are all calling it false? Really? Really? Lightning never strikes twice. Falso, you guys are right. Lightning usually strikes the same place repeatedly, particularly if it's a tall, pointy, isolated object. The Empire State Building, for instance, Sue, is an example. It's hit on an average of 23 times a year by lightning. 23 times a year. Boop, 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 boop. That's pretty crazy. Who was the oldest person to visit the South Pole? Oldest person. South Pole guy. You're going to recognize the name. Brian thought that was a shocking... That was good, Brian. Who was the oldest person? I can tell you he was 86 years old. 86. And he's going on treks to the South Pole. He was an astronaut. He was an astronaut. Buzz Aldrin. Buzz Aldrin. That's a pretty cool name for an astronaut, am I right? Buzz. I like that name. Oldest person to ever visit the South Pole. He became famous as an astronaut and an adventurer. That's interesting. Coconuts. Who loves coconuts? I don't really like coconut meat. And I am not a fan of coconut water. I don't get coconut water. I really don't understand it. I know it's healthy. I know it's a good thing. And I try to be healthy. But I'm not a coconut water guy. But I love coconuts. That's why Justin just said it, because of the cocoa coir. I just love the fact that they naturally create a pH balanced, perfect substrate environment. I don't like shredded coconut. If you have a cake and you put shredded coconuts on, I don't need a slice, thank you. No. The only place I'll really eat a coconut, the shredded stuff, is in, what is it, a Mounds bar. Like, isn't Mounds have a little bit of coconut in it? That I can handle. Coconuts, are they fruits, nuts, or seeds? They can be classified as all three. Coconuts can be classified as fruits, nuts, or seeds. Many people, oh, that's it, it's the almond joy. Brian's smart this morning. They can be classified as fruits, nuts, or seeds. Many people consider them to be the tree of life, including mushrooms, as every part of a coconut can be used as food, fiber, drink, utensils, fuel, and even instruments. Potentially a garment of sorts. The best time to spray perfume on yourself is right after a bath or a shower. The scent will last longer when it's applied to hydrated skin. Yep. So basically, don't come in from a sweaty run and spray perfume on and think it's a great deal. Go take a bath. You know, I know this is true, and I've tried it 100 times, and I can't get it. This next one I'm going to tell you is chocolate. No, Bounty. Chocolate, no nuts. Bounty is the best. I'm going to tell you guys, many of you know this. By just spinning an egg, you can tell the difference of a hard-cooked one from a raw one. If it spins easily, it's hard-cooked. If it wobbles, it's raw. I've tried it. Every egg I've ever spun was wobbler. It just wobbled. I've never gotten one to, knowing full well that it's hard-boiled, it still wobbled. I'm an egg wobbler from way back. Anybody ever been able to pull that off and actually differentiate between the two? I know it's supposed to work. Robert Kennedy, RFK Jr.'s dad, Robert Kennedy, had 11 children before he was assassinated. 11 children, 35 grandchildren. Good Catholics. There's one on here I gotta tell you. Where is this one? This one. This is gonna blow your mind. This is gonna blow your mind. You ready? Your grandma had 11? I think the Kennedy family, the one that John and Robert were from, I think there were 8. I think they had like 8 kids. We had families in our Catholic parish growing up with 11 and 12. Yep. I'm going to read this. Ooh, gosh, this is a crazy story. Not story, but are you guys ready for this one? The end. That's right, Eunice. There's a name blast from the past. You guys ready for this? According to a study published in the Journal of Neurobiology of Aging. Neurobiology of Aging. Listen to this. It's kind of hard to believe, but listen. According to this journal, the more flights of stairs a person climbs, or the more years of school a person completes, the younger the brain physically looks. The more years of school and or the more flights of stairs that you've climbed. Listen, Jason Steffner, a scientist and a researcher at Concordia Center, found that the brain decreases by age by 0.95 years for each year of education. You can take 0.95 years off the aging of your brain by education. And for every flight of stairs that you climb daily, you get a 0.58 brain increase, a brain age decrease. 0.58. I feel like I should be 197 years old. I used to live in a place that we had to walk all the way up. I think the key on that one is never stop learning. Yep, keep reading, keep learning. Read rando factos. Okay? Take the stairs. Forgo the elevator a couple of times. And that's a neurobiological journal's truth. Final thing for today, and then we're going to go to class. Caucasians tend to get gray hair first, followed by Asians, and then African Americans. Scientists still can't figure out why. You would think they'd have figured that whole bit out by now. Melanonin or melatonin or who knows. I would have thought they'd have figured that one out. We're going to be reading an article right now from a salon.com. Okay, no, let's do a giveaway first. Let's do a giveaway. I'm going to read a top 10 list. Okay? Top 10 list. And you're going to tell me, excuse me. I have a top 10 list in front of me. The first 3 people on my screen that I see on my screen, remember lag times are different, but the first 3 people that I see on my screen that answer this correctly are going to move forward to the spin to win round with the old-fashioned spinaroo. So here's the question. Which library in the United States, which university in the United States has the largest library? Go. Largest library. Okay. I have 3, the first 3 on my screen. The first 3 on my screen. So we're going to give you guys, all 3 of you are going to get a chance to win. I'm going to tell you what the answers were. And then I'm going to tell you which top 3 are on my screen first. Number 10, Cornell University. Number 9, Stanford. Number 8, University of California, Berkeley. 7, Columbia University. 6, University of Michigan. 5, this is surprising, University of Texas. 4, University of California. I'm sorry, the first University of California was UCLA at 8. University of California, Berkeley is number 4. University of Illinois is number 3. University of Illinois. Illini, I've got a nice little library going on. Number 2, Yale University. And number 1, number 1, and it's not even close, Harvard. Harvard. The first three people I saw answering Harvard on my screen were Justin. Justin, you're number one. Number two was Neosimplex. Neosimplex. And number three was Brian C. Brian C's been all over it this morning. So those are the three. It's looking like a Brian C to me. That's a Brian C all day, all day. So Brian C, if you can send me your address at the DetroitMushLab.net. Scroll down to the bottom of that. You'll see an email there. Send me your address, and I'm going to be sending you an eighth of supplementary supplementals. Okay? So you're going to get an eighth of supplemented situational. So, congratulations, Brian. Good job. Brian's been all over it this morning. Salon.com. This may take us 2 days. This may take us 2 days to cover this article. But we're mycologists, aren't we? Aren't we kind of interested in mycology? So we're going to sort of make sure that we know what's going on about that. Amanita muscaria, fly agaric. In a snow-covered village on the northern outskirts of Moscow, Russia's most famous mycologist, Mikhail Vishnevsky, poured me a cup of light, psychoactive mushroom tea. But it wasn't psilocybin, the psychedelic drug in so-called magic mushrooms, but instead, it was the world's most charismatic fungi. Red and white fly agaric mushroom, known to the scientists as Amanita muscaria. While both shrooms contain trippy molecules, their effects can be profoundly different. Amanita muscaria. So clearly this one is, when you can see the gills and it's dropped, it's popped, that's ready to harvest. Does this sound interesting to you guys? Do you want to hear the whole article? They're going to talk all about fly agaric. Does it work? Is it the real deal? They call it the world's most charismatic mushroom because that's actually the one you see drawings of and everything. So let's talk about Amanita muscaria. We'll probably, for the length of this article, and it's an extremely good article, it might take us 2 days to cover it. Okay? Fly agaric, unlike other mushrooms or plant-based psychedelics, immerse you so deeply that you can't tell what you're seeing from the real world, Vishnevsky explained. With psilocybin, you see things too, but you understand that you're in a room. There's the microwave. It might look funny, but it's still there. Fly agaric turns the world away from you completely and replaces it with something else entirely. You can be sitting at a table in this room, and around you there will be a forest and a path you must follow. So your experience is far stranger than you'd have from other plants or mushrooms. For you, this new world seems real, and this can be very scary for first-timers. That was all a quote by Vishnevsky, Russia's leading mycologist. With its iconic bright red cap dotted with white spots, Amanita muscaria is probably the most recognizable fungi in the world. The default mushroom emoji on WhatsApp, and a power-up for Mario on his quest to rescue Princess Peach. With his books and lectures, Vishnevsky almost single-handedly started a massively popular trend of Russians microdosing or trying to invoke lucid dreams and mystical experiences with fly agaric. They got the Russians going crazy over there. He's the closest Russia has to Paul Stamets, Michael Pollan, or Terence McKenna. But it's catching on stateside too. Okay? Between 2022 and 2023, Google searches for the use of this mushroom, excuse me, surged by 114%. Unlike psilocybin, this mushroom hasn't been widely banned yet. It's still legal in 49 states. The lone exception being, which state do you think is the only state that has made Amanita muscaria illegal? Take a guess while I cough. Which state is the only state out of the 50? You guys are all saying Texas? Right next to Texas. Louisiana. That's kind of hard to believe, considering New Orleans and some of the different kind of religious practices going on in that area. But Louisiana. So it's still illegal in 49 states, the lone exception being Louisiana. And online retailers offering fly agaric gummies, smoking blends, as we covered yesterday, and tinctures can sleep soundly knowing that their front doors won't be kicked down by SWAT teams with machine guns in the middle of the night. However, in December, the FDA ruled that Amanita muscaria do not meet health and safety standards. The FDA is starting to weigh in. The mushrooms can be poisonous with an unpleasant side effects, including coma, convulsions, and death. Though these outcomes are incredibly rare, but they're not unheard of. Psilocybin mushrooms, on the other hand, are considered safer than even alcohol. So what's inside the fly agaric that makes it so risky, but people still seek it out? I feel like you guys are paying attention out there. Amanita muscaria tends not to be a highly visual substance, as one might be used to with tryptamines and other kinds of classic psychedelics, according to Kevin Feeney, a lecturer at Central Washington University and the editor of a compendium on fly agaric. At high doses, people become less coordinated, and they may also experience blackouts, similar to alcohol, and they often enter into either a dissociative state or a state of delirium. And these things are quite distinct from what one experiences with more traditional psychedelics, said Kevin Feeney. Fly agaric contains no psilocybin, but it does contain two other chemicals, muscimol and ibotenic acid. Muscimol is responsible for a soothing, Valium-like sensation, and in heroic doses, hallucinations, while ibotenic acid is not inherently psychoactive, but it can be converted into muscimol in the body. In small doses, muscimol can help treat sleeplessness and anxiety. Ibotenic acid can be dangerous as it's linked to brain lesions, akin to Alzheimer's, and it may explain some of the more negative side effects of Amanita muscaria. So that's the ibotenic acid in it. You really are not, it's not giving you much, and if anything, it's going to end up not being good for you. Vishnevsky Wisniewski became fascinated by fly agaric through the accounts of explorers in the 17th and 18th century, witnessing mushroom rituals and shamanism in Siberia. It's funny if you forget about the countries we don't live in and the cultures and the history that they have related to mycology. Before the Russians and Finns introduced them to vodka, Amanita muscaria was not only a sacrament, but it was the inebriant of choice for the native tribes of Siberia and Lapland. In northern Scandinavia, it's eaten in soup or it's fermented into a brew. Sometimes the natives fed the mushrooms to reindeers first. Sometimes the natives fed the mushrooms to reindeers first before drinking their urine. Before drinking the reindeer urine. Because there's a metabolizing process that makes it more potent and less toxic as it passes through their system. Okay, reindeer pee. Feed a reindeer with a mushroom, drink its pee. Where there wasn't enough fly agaric to go around, the tribes, Wisniewski said, they wouldn't let pee go to waste. Stuart knows this. If you had to pee, they'd pass you a cup. And this cycle can happen 3 to 4 times. Someone eats, pees in a cup, and passes it to the next person. They drink it, and so on, until about the 5th person. By this time, it was losing its potency. But since the fly agaric is a sacred mushroom, it was more prestigious to be the one eating it than the one drinking the pee. Although the pee is actually stronger. I heard that they were going to try that at a mush fest. What do you guys think about that? Pass me a cup. We'll have like those solo cups, and everybody has to put their own name on it. You have to put you know what I'm talking about? Put your name on the cup. According to Wisniewski, the psychedelic golden showers would take the shamans to the spirit realm, where they would ask where to herd their reindeer next week. Where's the tastiest grass for them to chew? And so on. The spirits appear, and they tell them to head north, take a left, and everything will be peachy. But the mycologists believe our relationship with fly agaric goes back further still, all the way to the ancient roots of religion itself. Now, there is evidence that all the Abrahamic faiths, namely Judaism, Christianity, Islam, as well as their later incarnations, such as Mormonism, they all descended from a 10 to 12,000 year old cult centered around fly agaric. Wisniewski explained. Experts tracing how language has evolved from ancient times to the present have concluded there is a taboo on the fly agaric. Everyone talks about the apple, but that's a newfangled innovation. That only appeared in the 18th century. There wasn't an apple in the Bible originally. It was just the forbidden fruit. Perhaps it was just more comfortable to think of it as a tree and apples. He's referring to a controversial theory proposed by equally controversial Bible scholar John Allegro in the 1970 book, The Sacred Mushroom and the Cross, in which he argued that Christ never existed and the Bible is just an allegory for a mushroom-crazed sex cult. How do you get mushroom-crazed sex cult? That's taken it a little far, but this guy's been completely, his research was completely shut down. John Allegra, it was a bad book. Needless to say, this was not well received by the faithful. Less scandalously, the shrooms have been suggested as the secret ingredient in Soma Homa, the trippy concoction made from the ancient Indo-Aryan scriptures forming the basis of modern Hinduism and Zoroastrianism. Have a great day, Sue. Even me, this is Vishnevsky now, even me, a 100% militant atheist, one of my first trips was on red fly agaric. I had an experience that can't be described as anything other than religious, Vishnevsky said. I witnessed how the universe was born, how the gods fought one another on a cosmic level, how one of them created the sun, our world and everything in it, the purpose of humanity. I understood how to find a new religion, the Church of the Shroom, where I would be the Pope. I knew exactly what to do with the priests and how the energy would flow through me to honor the gods, for which I'd be granted eternal life. The whole fly agaric gospel was in my head. When I came to, for about 3 weeks, I felt like I was the prophet. I had to tell everyone what I'd seen. But on a certain level, this is just a trick the mind played by the mushroom, and it faded away. Boy, he took a trip, huh? With this sound as dangerous as it could be, it sounds like you got to take quite a dose to get to that point, but you're running some risks, maybe. Sadly, Russian conquest and Soviet repression have diminished indigenous shamanism. But thanks to Vishnevsky and his wife, as well as celebrities such as actor and self-admitted psychonaut Vladimir Epistanov, microdosing has made its way into Russian popular culture. Microdosing entails ingesting small red fly agaric capsules throughout the day for a mildly sedative sensation, for a good night's sleep, as well as a vivid, lucid dream. And then there's microdosing for a new outlook on life. Afterwards, you don't think, I'm going to travel to a different country or get a new job, like you might after psilocybin, Vishnevsky said. You think, wow, I'm grateful I have a job at all. You think, I have childhood trauma. No, I'm just grateful I had a childhood. How cool is that? That's what Vishnevsky says. This is what fly agaric points you to. It shows you all these problems that you thought were problems, and they aren't problems at all. You can just enjoy life. Everything that's troubling you is so insignificant, you should be grateful for everything you have. After this realization, people start walking with a little skip. Even your vision seems to improve. This lasts approximately 2 weeks, according to Vishnevsky. Now, we're going to go to a couple more things, and then we're going to pick the rest of this up tomorrow. He cautions that fly agaric is not under any circumstances just for fun. The effects can be so strong, Vishnevsky advises, against using them without supervision. I think probably one of the bigger dangers, though, is that a certain dose level, people become unaware of their surroundings, and they do become kind of impervious to pain and discomfort. Feeney warned, pointing to a case where a camper froze to death because he didn't have enough awareness to get inside warm clothes or a sleeping bag. At some point, it really is necessary to have a sober individual present who can watch out for the individual if they're going to take a high dose of the mushroom. Indeed, trips can be very nerve-wracking and intense. There is another effect, Vishnevsky warned. It's called looping visions. You appear in this new world You live in it, and very often your life even ends in death. And when you do die, you think you died for real. These cycles begin again and again. You can die 3, 5, 7 times in a row, and you don't know if you're dying in the real world or not. When the trip is finally over, 8 or 12 hours later, the first emotion you see on their faces is absolute terror. It's very rare that this type of a first trip will be a positive experience. Duh. I don't want that one. Okay? Final paragraph for today, and we'll pick up this article tomorrow. Although scientific inquiry into the matter is scarce, Wisniewski touts the benefits of fly agaric for treating sleeplessness, depression, and anxiety, and as a remedy for alcoholism. I'm going to talk to you more. We're about halfway through the article, and we're going to actually get into a little bit more of the chemistry of it. So we'll pick the rest of that article up tomorrow. I'm interested in learning. I like what I'm learning. I have me personally, zero interest in trying it. Zero. It's ups and down options, and it's like, Wisniewski clearly is a complete lover of it, so he's gonna, he's proselytizing for it. Personally, I really don't need it. Yeah, I don't need to die 7 times and then wake up and find out if I'm really alive or not. Yeah, it doesn't sound great, but it sure sounds like something we need to know. Yeah, and then add in the brain lesions from that acid. Yeah, we got to be careful with that one. The magic of surrender. Okay? Make space. Make space. That's a good article. It's a really good article. We're learning a lot about Amanita muscaria, and it's really interesting to me to realize that, other countries they're in their own mycological revolution too. I mean, we're talking Russians. You don't think of Russians as, experiencing stuff like that. I always think of them walking around like they're robots or something. So unfair of my thinking. Those are beautiful people too. So we'll finish that article tomorrow. Imagine for a moment that you've gotten into a devastating car accident. As you wake up, you find yourself in a hospital bed. You don't remember what happened. In fact, you don't even know who you are. I walked into the room and I told you that your memory's gone forever. So I'm here to fill in the blanks. Your name is Sam. You've got a wife and 3 kids who are waiting just outside the door. You work at a financial planning company in Minneapolis. You love karate and Japanese food. What would you do? What could you say? Who are you if everything you know about yourself has been erased? Really? Where did the you go? Where did the you that you were before go? Where is this you? What is this you? When did you exist? In that hospital room with no memories, no stories, no beliefs, no history about yourself. What is the one thing you could know for sure? Take a moment to consider. What could you know for sure beyond a shadow of a doubt? I think we might have covered this one before, but I was reading it this morning and it was well worth repeating. Take a moment to consider, what can you know without a shadow of a doubt? Cleany knows. You've been told who you are, what your name is, what your religion is. But the only thing you can know for sure at that moment from direct experience is that I am. Not I'm enough, not I'm unworthy, not I'm unlovable, not I'm a failure, not I'm Jewish, I'm a Buddhist, not I'm a bad mother, not I'm smart, not I'm stupid, not I'm a creative person. You don't know any of that. Those are just labels. They're not the truth about you. You would look around the hospital room. You wouldn't even know what town you were in. But you would look around and know, I am. I exist. All the things we put behind I am are just concepts. They're just ideas. They're just stories. Some may be helpful, some not so much. Some might be true. Some might be false. But they are not who you truly are. Don't get attached to the labels about yourself. Be willing to surrender the labels that have limited you. You are not your labels. Ego will stay in a relationship with someone you know is wrong for you, forcing it to work because you think you should be together. Soul lives in total honesty and integrity. Ego attempts to do more advanced poses in yoga class so you can look good. When you have a few drinks, the tight grip of your ego loosens. And for a minute, you feel free, no longer boxed in by the inhibitions and self-consciousness. Maybe you get high, and all these things that we're consuming are no longer so important. But it doesn't last. Even though through orgasm, we seek a release of the ego. For a fleeting moment, the ego is gone. How blissful it is. In that moment of orgasm, the ego dissolves. The French call it the little death. That is why it is called ecstasy. But once again, it's short-lived. What we chase through those temporary experiences is available to us at all times. There is a freedom when you let go of the ego and you realize that who you really are is soul. One more thing. To surrender does not mean you hide in chrysalis for the rest of your life. No, to surrender is to release the old. To surrender is to enter the chrysalis. To know that on the other side, something is greater. This is when we can move from a limited life to the one that is truly unlimited and begin to open infinite possibilities that life has to offer. Boop. Good stuff. Good stuff. Stop being a label. Stop being a label. And it's we were taught what our labels were when we were young, and then we relabeled, and then we labeled on top of that label, and we might pull one label off, but we always replaced it with another label. What if there was no labels at all? Wouldn't it just be a little better?
Just here for the ecstasy, man.
You're just here.
Just here for the ecstasy, man.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna label you pretty soon. I'm gonna label him really soon. Okay, he's getting a label. Okay, just here for the ecstasy, man. Okay, would you guys go have a wonderful day? Get out of here. Get out of here. I'll tell Brock you guys all love him. I think he already knows. Thank you. Brock, do you know that already?
What?
They seem to like you a bit.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah, whatever?
I'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Oh, you bet. Remember that, Kim, when I did that to him for Christmas? Remember that? When I gave him a key? He opened up a box, there was a key in there. Remember? The veterans here remember. The look on his face. And then I gave him a gift certificate. A gift certificate so he could buy some furniture. Remember? Looking at you, yeah, I've already got your first month's paid. Here's your key. And his face was like, oh, what? Guys, go have a great day. All you, the veterans totally remember that one. Right, Marky? I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks for making the end of the show a crack up, Brock. Okay, I'm going to scroll you guys out of here. Laura, I remember it too. Have a divine day. Paigey and Anthony T, big man. And Nurs, hi Nurs. Rodman and Derek Anderson and Niffer. And Mike Barball and Buddy. What's up, bud? 5280 all day. Shy, I remember it too. Herbs. There's my Herbie Kebab. Cleany and Mark Zamaron and Cat Meowzilla. And Nerd, oh, that was the best. He fell for it. How you doing, Mushmouth? Mike Barball Stewart. Clean Girl Kimberly. Shy. Jay Hurst. Billy T. Greeny. Rodman. Okay. Notorious Skate. And then we got Mark and Neo Simplex and Oreo and Tony G. Nipper Mama. Marcus Doc. Derek Anderson. Mother Wolf. There's the new kid in class. We're glad you're here. Jay Hurst, Melody Dawn, John Zook, Herbie and King Kush, Anthony T, Laura, have a divine day, April, Brannon, there's April, Mike Barry Ball, Joe Dees and Jimmy Max and Marky Z and Brian Roy and Rubby or Ruby or Rubby, King Kush, Shy, Laura Divine, Saul Maldo, Exception Justin, Sandy the Sandy Sandman, B. Hendricks, Croaky, croak 'em if you got 'em, Michael Patterson, Sean T, Pacers, Riselmorth, and Laura, she's divine, Stuart Hughes, got a burp in here, Michael Brown, hello Mike, Shy and Mike Butterball, Mark Zamaron, Mother Wolf, thank you, Herbie and Michael Patterson, Pacers, Matt, there's Matt, Paige, Mr. Phillips, Joe Dees, Jesse Tinsley, I'm glad you're here. Melody, Mark, Croaky, Brian Roy, the Wazzy, Wazerton, croak 'em if you got 'em, Mark Pacers, D. Anderson, Rodman, Jay Hurst, Wazzy, Popsy, PC, Audi,